You're doing everything right, or acting, affirming, visualizing, yet nothing changes. Why? Because the universe isn't listening to your words, it's listening to your energy. In this video, we reveal the law Owen Hermstring says you've been ignoring, the true frequency you're broadcasting beneath all your effort. If you felt stuck despite trying hard, this will show you why your field isn't responding, and exactly how to reset the signal life is reflecting back to you. You're doing everything they said you should. You've made the vision board. You've written down your goals. You're taking bold steps, pushing through resistance, staying motivated. And yet, nothing's moving. Life still feels heavy. The door won't open. You start to wonder if something's wrong with you. But Owen Hermstring, in The Law Behind the Laws, offers a very different answer. The field doesn't respond to what you do. It responds to what you mean. And that sentence alone flips the entire manifestation conversation upside down, because it means that effort alone isn't enough. Your actions are not what the universe hears. Your underlying energetic intention is. You can take massive action from a place of fear and be ignored by the field entirely. You can say all the right things, but still be broadcasting doubt, frustration, or unworthiness. In Hermstring's words, the field hears the quiet part, the part you try to hide. This is why so many people feel like they're running in place. They're acting, but not aligning. They're doing, but not becoming. And their efforts, no matter how consistent, fall flat because their emotional frequency is contradicting their action. It's like trying to call someone on the phone while muting your mic. You're dialing, but nothing's getting through. This is a hard pill to swallow, especially for high achievers. We're trained to believe that if we just push hard enough, things will shift. But in Hermstring's model, the field doesn't respond to force. It responds to coherence. If your action is aligned with your identity, with your beliefs, with your body's sense of safety, then results begin to show up effortlessly. But if your action is compensating for unprocessed fear or trying to force a reality you don't actually believe in, then you're out of tune, and the field reflects that. Let's say you're launching a business. You can market it, promote it, work 15-hour days, but if deep down you believe people won't value you, or that you don't deserve money, or that failure is inevitable, then your field is jammed, your signal is confused. The outer world won't know how to respond, or worse, it'll mirror the exact fear you're transmitting. Hermstring says it plainly, your energy is the script. Your actions are just the actors. If the script isn't true, the performance falls flat. That's why people get results when they stop trying and start trusting, not because they're lazy, but because their energy is finally clean, coherent, and congruent with what they're asking for. So if you've been acting without results, the real question isn't, what else should I do? It's, what energy is fueling my action? Is it fear of not being enough? Is it desperation? Is it needing proof before believing? Because whatever the answer is, that's what the field is responding to. And until that changes, nothing will. We live in a world that glorifies hard work, hustle, push through, grind, do more, be more. It's embedded in our culture, our success stories, our productivity apps. But Owen Hermstring, in The Law Behind the Laws, dismantles this idea with one disarming line. Effort without frequency is noise. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The people who seem to manifest with ease, who attract aligned opportunities, who live in flow, they're often not the ones working the hardest. They're the ones emitting the clearest signal. They aren't constantly adjusting the external. They're resonating from the internal. Because what Hermstring makes clear is that your field, not your effort, is what's doing the heavy lifting. Let's break it down. When you act from misalignment, from anxiety, fear, unworthiness, or scarcity, your effort becomes chaotic. It's full of tension. It pushes, it grasps, it compensates. And to the field, that's just static. There's no clarity in it, no truth. You're emitting conflicting signals. I want this, but also, I don't believe I can have it, or I need this now or else. The universe doesn't punish you for this. It simply doesn't know what to mirror back. Hermstring explains it like tuning a radio. If you want to hear a specific station, turning the volume up won't help if you're tuned to the wrong frequency. You'll just get louder distortion. This is what most people do. They try harder, they double down. But trying harder from the wrong vibration only amplifies the noise. He writes, "Effort is only magnetic when it flows from coherence." That means the most powerful actions come from a place of internal harmony, when what you want, believe, feel, and embody are in alignment. When your nervous system is calm, when your belief is stable, when your field is clean, then even small actions become amplified. The field recognizes your frequency, and the external begins to bend toward you, not because of force, but because of resonance. This is why two people can do the same thing, launch the same business, give the same speech, write the same pitch, and get radically different results. It's not the act, it's the energy behind the act. When your frequency is aligned, your effort becomes precise, elegant, and potent. It doesn't shout, it whispers, and reality listens. Hermstring doesn't tell you to stop acting. He tells you to stop acting from fear. Start with energy, he says, then move with trust. That shift alone turns effort into clarity, struggle into flow, noise into signal. Because the universe doesn't respond to how loud you speak, only to how aligned your frequency is when you say it. You can say all the right things. You can speak your goals with confidence, visualize your future in detail, and repeat daily affirmations until your voice gets tired. But if the emotions running quietly in the background are fear, doubt, or lack, those feelings are what the field will respond to. In The Law Behind the Laws, Owen Hermstring is crystal clear about this. You don't manifest what you say, you manifest what you emotionally rehearse most often. This is the law of energetic consistency, the law you keep ignoring. And it's why nothing seems to be working. You may feel good for a few moments, but what matters is what you return to again and again, your emotional home. That emotional home is your signal, and the signal doesn't lie. Hermstring explains that reality is far less responsive to your intention and far more responsive to your consistency. You might have bursts of hope and empowerment, but if the dominant emotional pattern you've been conditioned into is anxiety or unworthiness, that's what your field continues to broadcast, and the universe mirrors back that data with precision. It's not a glitch. It's the system working exactly as it should. Imagine trying to grow a new garden, but returning every day to pour poison into the soil. You may plant seeds with good intentions, but what takes root is determined by what's sustained, not what's momentary. The same is true with your vibration. Your consistency determines the tone of your field, and that tone attracts people, events, and outcomes that match it emotionally. This law is harsh only if you misunderstand it, because it also means you can shift your reality by changing your emotional baseline, not by chasing more. Hermstring suggests tracking your most frequent emotions, not just the ones you're proud of. Ask yourself, what do I return to when I'm not trying? Is it resentment? Is it fear? Is it self-blame? That's your field. That's your frequency. That's what's winning, regardless of your goals. And here's where the shift begins. You stop chasing the next big step and start stabilizing in the energy you want to live from. Not for 1 hour in the morning, but as your new emotional norm. This might mean rewiring how you respond to disappointment, practicing gratitude even when things aren't moving, finding safety in your body so you can sustain higher states without crashing. Hermstring puts it beautifully. You are not creating from your best days, you're creating from your most repeated feelings. And when those feelings begin to evolve, gently, consistently, intentionally, your field changes. You stop waiting for evidence and become the evidence. You stop forcing the shift and become the shift. Because in the end, the law isn't complicated. It's brutally simple. What you feel most, you become. And what you become, the field reflects. Always. It seems natural to want, to desire love, success, health, freedom, whatever you've been reaching for. And for most people, the more they want something, the more they try to attract it. But Owen Hermstring challenges this deeply embedded belief in the law behind the laws by stating, when desire carries the frequency of absence, it commands the field to withhold. That single sentence turns everything upside down. What Hermstring is revealing here is that the energy behind the desire is more important than the desire itself. Wanting in and of itself is not the problem. The problem arises when that wanting is soaked in fear, scarcity, or desperation. When you want something because you feel incomplete without it, you're not actually broadcasting attraction, you're broadcasting lack. And the universe, being fully responsive to frequency, reflects back that exact emotional tone, absence. This is why so many people say, the more I want it, the further it feels. It's not just a feeling, it's a vibrational mechanism. The more intensely you feel the absence of what you desire, the more that absence becomes the dominant signal in your field. Hermstring calls this the inverted pull, the phenomenon where your very effort to get closer to something energetically pushes it away. Imagine standing at the edge of a magnetic field, reaching for something while constantly affirming, "It's not here yet." Every affirmation, every visualization, even every prayer, if rooted in longing and emotional lack, is still broadcasting the signal of not having. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to the energetic condition behind them. So, what's the solution? Hermstring doesn't suggest giving up desire. He suggests purifying it, turning it into a declaration, not a request. Instead of, "I hope this comes," the vibration becomes, "I know this is mine." Instead of "I want," the field hears, "I already am the one who lives inside that reality." This shift isn't about lying to yourself. It's about stabilizing in the identity of the version of you who no longer doubts it. That's the difference between magnetic desire and repelling desire. Magnetic desire comes from wholeness. It's expansive, it's joyful, it's rooted in emotional sufficiency. You're not chasing to escape pain. You're expanding to express truth. The desire is clean. It's non-attached. It flows rather than clings. Hermstring puts it simply, the signal of already having is the fastest route to receiving. And you can't fake that frequency. Your body knows the difference. When you shift from anxious wanting to calm receiving, your field becomes clear. The universe doesn't need convincing, it needs resonance. So the next time you feel like you're yearning too much, pause. Ask yourself, am I trying to pull this in from fear, or am I becoming the person who would naturally live this truth? Because only one of those frequencies is magnetic. The other is resistance disguised as effort. You can say you're ready. You can speak powerfully, affirm abundance, declare love, and repeat all the right phrases. But if your stomach clenches every time you look at your bank account, if your shoulders tighten when you think about failure, or your breath shortens when someone gets too close, your body is telling a very different story. In the law, behind the laws, Owen Hermstring delivers a sobering reminder. The universe doesn't respond to your voice, it responds to your nervous system. This is a truth most people don't want to face. It's easier to believe that words alone create reality, that by saying the right thing often enough, you'll eventually shift your world. But Hermstring pulls the curtain back on this illusion. He explains that the body is the emotional memory bank. It holds the residue of every experience, belief, and energetic imprint you've ever internalized. And that imprint, not your words, is what the field mirrors. Let's say you affirm, "I am abundant," but your body has years of conditioning tied to financial stress. Your mind may repeat the phrase, but your field is still vibrating survival. You say, "I am safe in love," but your heart races at the thought of true intimacy. Not because you're lying, but because your nervous system remembers when love hurt. That memory becomes your broadcast. This disconnect between words and embodied energy is what Hermstring calls the frequency fracture. It's the gap between what you consciously want and what you subconsciously expect. And in that gap, reality delays, distorts, or reflects back more of what you were trying to escape. So what do you do when your body isn't on board? You stop trying to convince it and start retraining it. Hermstring urges us to move beyond intellectual understanding into emotional integration. This means using breath, presence, and nervous system regulation to teach the body that a new truth is safe to hold. It's not about faking confidence. It's about gradually becoming familiar with peace, with stability, with being seen, with receiving. The body won't believe what it doesn't know. But if you give it small, repeated experiences of what safety and expansion feel like, it will begin to update its signal, slowly, gently, honestly. Hermstring writes, "What the body accepts, the universe confirms." So if your body accepts worthiness, truly feels it, your field starts reflecting experiences that match. This is why trauma healing, breathwork, somatic practices, and emotional regulation are not just therapeutic tools. They are vibrational upgrades. They help your field send out a cleaner, more coherent message, one that's rooted not in survival, but in trust. And when your body and your words match, you don't need to repeat yourself 1,000 times. Your presence alone becomes the message. The field stops hearing noise and starts responding to truth. You might be doing everything right on the surface. You set intentions, you journal, you visualize, you watch videos, take courses, speak positively, act boldly, but deep down, life still isn't moving. Opportunities pass you by, relationships repeat. The future you want always seems just out of reach. And yet, the field is not broken. The universe is not punishing you. The truth, as Owen Hermstring puts it in The Law Behind the Laws, is devastatingly clear. Reality always responds. It's your signal that's been inconsistent, unclear, or unnoticed. This is the moment when everything shifts, when you stop blaming the delay on external forces and begin turning inward, because the field is always listening, not to what you want, not to what you say, but to what you broadcast, whether you're aware of it or not. And most people, they're ignoring their own signal. They focus on the words, the goals, the strategies, but never pause to ask, what energy am I actually living in? Hermstring explains that your signal is made of 3 elements: identity, emotion, and repetition. Who you believe you are, how you consistently feel, and what patterns you repeat without resistance. This signal forms the energetic request your life responds to. If you don't know what your signal is, just look around. Your current reality is the answer. Not because you deserve it, but because you've been broadcasting it long enough for it to become structure. This is not about guilt, it's about awareness. When you finally pay attention to the energetic message you've been sending, not what you meant to send, but what you've actually been transmitting, you get your power back. Because once you see it, you can change it. You can stop reinforcing the identity that keeps looping. You can stop calling in resistance masked as effort. You can stop hiding behind the mask of alignment and start creating actual resonance. Hermstring reminds us, clarity doesn't come from control. It comes from coherence. That means you don't need more force. You need more honesty. And that honesty begins by asking, what signal am I truly living in? And am I ready to change it? Because the moment you stop ignoring the signal you're sending, you begin crafting one that finally works. One that doesn't push, but pulls. One that doesn't chase, but attracts. One that doesn't hope, but becomes. And from that place, reality doesn't delay. It responds instantly, consistently, and without resistance, because the signal is finally clear. If this opened your eyes to the signal you've been sending, don't stop here. Subscribe now and join a community rewriting reality from the inside out, one frequency at a time. Every week, we break down Hermstring's teachings to help you align, broadcast clearly, and finally receive what matches your truth. The shift begins when you stay consistent. Let this be your first step toward a field that reflects who you truly are.